Good morning, everyone. Sharon Thornton here with Free Spirit Fabrics. We are here with two very special guests, Kaffe Fassett and Brandon Mably. We're very excited to talk to them today about their Quilts and Wales, their newest book that they're going to tell you all about, which you can't see because of my virtual background, so that's not going to work. And they're going to talk to you about the August 2022 fabrics that are delivering, and a whole bunch of other things. So we welcome you here today. If you have any questions, please send us questions that you have as Kaffe and Brandon go along, telling us about all these many things. Pay very close attention, because we're going to have a question for you at the end, and you'll be able to win a couple of gifts. So that'll be very exciting. Give us thumbs up, give us hearts. That way Kaffe and Brandon know what you're liking, especially, as well as us here at Free Spirit Fabrics. So I'm going to send us over. So hold on one second, and I hope that I do this correctly, Brandon. So there you are. Good morning. Well, good afternoon.
Hello from London. It's so warm here, I cannot tell you. But mind you, you're used to it in Charlotte, I understand.
Yes, well, let me tell you, when we're here, I feel like we're making snow inside, and then we go outside and it's 100 degrees.
Yeah, that's a big difference. We don't have air conditioning, so it doesn't mess up our hair.
Yes.
Well, if you have hair. But anyway, it doesn't blow my hat off, which I'm usually wearing. Anyway, it's great to be back, to be able to talk to all you who might be tuning in. Thank you very much. Some of you might have been curious where Sharon was, that magnificent backdrop she had. Well, at first I thought that was her bedroom, but it happens to be a room in the castle, which we just shot, the Quilts in Wales, which Kaffe will be showing you in a moment. Oops, he's just showing you here. This was the actual picture we wanted to be the cover of the book, but the publishers fought us tooth and nail, and we ended up with a different cover. Kaffe will talk to you about that in a moment. And this is a 13th century castle in North Wales, which was a magnificent location for us to shoot a book. And we went and did a recce there during COVID time. It's just Kaffe and I snuck in there quietly. It's 4.5 hours drive from London up to North Wales. We're going to be having an exhibition in the castle. I think either next year or the year after, but watch out on our social media, because that is going to be incredibly special. Whoops, it looked like I just dropped my pants. But anyway, that was a little sneak preview. Kate's going to give you a little bit of a show and tell about the fabrics. So first off, we're going to show you a couple of sneak previews from the book we will be launching next week at the Festival of Quilts in Birmingham. And then I understand that you can get signed copies that Kaffe signed off these book plates through discerning shops, so they're carrying the books in their shops. I think next week too. So look online for that. And then once we've done with this, we're going to show you the incredible shade cards that Free Spirit put together of our latest collection, which is just about to hit the shops at the end of August, I understand. Again, next week. Yes, and hopefully there'll be some teasers in there. We'll also show you some of the fabrics opened out, because when you look online, you just get to see a little window box, like somebody's looking through a letter box. But when we open them up as big drops, it gives you an idea for borders and backings. Anyway, I am over to His Lordship. Here's Kaffe. Great.
I would like to.
Pretty.
First of all, hello world, and I would like to start out by showing you what has just bloomed in my garden, a rose named after me.
It's really beautiful.
There's the Kaffe Fassett rose.
And it has the most beautiful scent. I cannot tell you. I wish you could smell. Actually, it smells like me. So if any of you would like to have that growing in your garden, go to kfassett.com and have a look. It's distributed all over the world as a shrub for your garden, and it flowers about 3 or 4 times through the summer.
Wow, that's awesome. Right. Good morning. Good afternoon, Kaffe.
Well, hello. That was the message from the snake. Now, this is the book Quilts in Wales. And what I'm showing you on the wall behind me is how dark this quilt really is. It has a beautiful dark richness. So if you like dark, smoldering colors, you will enjoy the colors that these are. If you think that you're getting a nice sort of quiet middle of the range number, like what it looks like on the cover, then you might be disappointed. But I'm hoping that you will enjoy the deep purples and cobalt blues and so forth that exist in this quilt. I've had a great time because we looked for locations and I thought I would like to find a wonderful grand house. And what I found when we looked for all these different locations was this absolutely gorgeous little intimate castle. It doesn't have vast halls, which many of the places that we looked at were just too big and cavernous. You know, our quilts would look like postage stamps, you know, at the end of a hall. But this place had these beautiful rooms and beautiful staircases and everything draped in tapestries and fabulous murals and so forth. It's all in the book. One of the greatest things about the book, about this place, the Powys Castle, are these amazing hedges. You can see from this quilt, which is about 6 feet, 7 feet tall, that hedge is enormous. It's this great tsunami of a hedge in the most wonderful abstract shapes. It's a unique and fabulous garden, all built on a hill in the side of Wales, which usually gets fabulous rain. This year, nobody's getting any rain anywhere. So I'm hoping that garden isn't suffering too much. Anyway, you will find lovely things. You know, the way our quilts, I don't want to get a glare, but I'm trying to show you how the quilts look against a tapestry. And what fun, can you imagine what fun it was to go around and find locations that melted with our, like we found, you know, there's a black and white house and Liza had done this gorgeous little baby quilt that was kind of really sharp black and white. And there it is on a wonderful marble table in the castle. So all of these locations, there's a quilt that I made specially for the castle because it's based on their old library of books. And you can see that the quilt actually looks like a library of leather-bound, gorgeous books. So absolutely enjoyable experience, the whole thing, you know, to shoot a whole book in just one small location that had so many moods and so many beautiful things. I mean, like there was a little side room that had the most beautiful little painted wagon from Sicily. And that we did this little child's quilt that was just like a kaleidoscope of jolly bright colors. And it worked so beautifully with that little Sicilian wagon, things like that. So I hope you will have as much of an adventure looking at quilts in Wales as we did actually photographing it and making the quilts to go with it. Now, one of the things that we're featuring a lot is these wonderful shot cottons that I get made in India, hand woven. And we've done them in a series of stripes. And so here is a very, very dark stripe, and here's a very dark stripe. Almost looks like black, probably from a distance, but these are black and very dark teal and black and wonderful kind of grungy grease green, which I love when you want a dark quilt. I'm going to show you a dark quilt in a minute where I've used those. And the border is also one of our stripes. So we just enjoyed that. Also, the outside border is a new fabric called Charlotte, not based on where our company lives, but just a nice Victorian name, because I had this beautiful Victorian vase that had lovely big flowers and background of little flowers. And so that was really fun to be able to do a fabric from that and do this blue colorway, which worked very well as our border.
And the snails, the recolor of the snails.
Yes, I mean, I don't, yes, you can see also we have the snails in here. The one little bit of red in this sea of deep, rich blues. Actually, I can see that it's looking a little bit washed out on the screen here. It really is a wonderful deep palette. Now underneath, we have the quilt that I made specially for the castle, which is this beautiful quilt. That's the one that is here.
Oh, on the
If you
back.
can see, yeah, against that wonderful hedge. And I knew that yew hedge was a wonderful deep green. The British Isles do yew hedges like nowhere else that I've seen. Absolutely wonderful dark green foliage.
I think it looks like mounds of cellulite.
Yeah, I just trusted Brandon to put a nice spin on this gorgeous art. Anyway, here we've got a very simple quilt. Love the idea of breaking up these great big panels, of showing the big prints in a wonderful way that really shows them off, starting with this big kind of coleus leaf print in the middle, and then chrysanthemums, and then embroidered flower following that, chrysanthemums again in another colorway, and then one called, oh, I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
Awful.
Japanese.
No. It's anyway, it's one of the ones we've revived that we all love so much that we revived it, and I can't even think of the name of it.
It's
But
a
anyway, there's
beauty.
two different colorways of the same fabric.
What?
And then
What?
we've got cloisonne.
Cloisonne.
Cloisonne is what it's called, because each flower has an outline. And then we've got sunflowers at the very outside in a dark colorway.
It's
So
really
that-
beautiful.
Really
Yeah,
good.
that was really fun. And this is darker than it's looking on the screen, so that it was just beautiful against these hedges. I can't tell you what fun it was
What's
to
the
shoot.
backing?
So Kate, before you take that down, I just want to let everybody know that that one's called topiary.
Oh, right. Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm
The quilt's called
not a
topiary.
details person, as you can see. I don't do names of things. Anyway, the backing is this lotus leaf in the dark purples and greens. That's 108-inch backing,
Sassy.
the sateen backing, which is really, really lovely to have those at our disposal to play with. Now,
I'm never going to look at that hedge the same way, Brandon.
I know that's a problem with having Brandon on board.
My mother is going to shoot me.
No, she's not.
Okay,
That's a beauty.
now, this quilt I absolutely love, and we found the most beautiful little corner. Let's see if I can quickly find it here in the book.
It's on page, I don't know what. I just found it.
Did you
Page
find it?
42, page 42.
Yeah,
It's called
there it is.
Turquoise Dream.
Yeah, I mean, this beautiful green room. Can you imagine how lovely? That was like a ballroom where they would have a great dance. And there was the quilt just looking fantastic. So these lovely soft colors. I love doing these very simple to construct quilts that show off the prints so well. So there in the middle, we have Charlotte, and then this kind of wonderful agate print of, is it Geo? No, yeah, it's agate. And
Yeah.
then my flower with the great big shadow on it with lots of plain background. I like every once in a while in these very Baroque patterns all coming together to have a bit of clean background and sharp shadow, just so it has a nice delineation. And then we get the wonderful kind of lilies of Phillips that give us a lovely stripiness. And then his wonderful shell. And this is one of my favorite colorways of shell. So that it's very, very kind of like old-fashioned colors, like the way a map would be colored or something, very muted colors with a sharp black and off-white heading, and then nice big soft green and so forth. Look how organic that border is, how it just burgeons out there, and that organic, like shadows and great clouds of shapes and color. I mean, this would be beautiful in a white room, a soft white room.
The
Really
photograph is really beautiful, Kaffe.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. Now, what have we got on the back of that? Oh, we've got chrysanthemums. So there you can see how kind of punchy that looks. I like it when you turn over a quilt and the party still keeps going on. You know, you get a wonderful, big, lovely print on the back rather than some little throwaway scrap of fabric that you were trying to get rid of.
I agree with you, Kaffe. Whenever we look at backings now, we think of you. We keep the party going.
Yeah, good. Okay, and I'll take that down and show you.
Oh, that's beautiful too.
Yes, this is what Liza, Philip, Sharon was having in the photograph of the wonderful castle bedroom.
Oh, in the beginning.
Which had, you know, this beautiful red velvet.
Best book.
Yeah.
So this one's called Saturated Red, and it's on page 22 in the book.
Yeah. And there, that's the picture I think I was showing you earlier.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. I mean, can you imagine these great gold leaf beds with fabulous old velvet and surrounded by tapestries? I mean, what is not to love? It was such a location. You know, we just wandered from one amazing scene to another when we were shooting this book. And they were very good. When they saw that we weren't going to burn the place down or throw all the furniture out the window, they decided to trust us, and they just kind of left us to our own devices, which was really enjoyable. So we had a lovely time. So here you can see Oranges is a print that I love. And here it looks like studs on a wall. I really love the way that looks. In you know, oranges, who would think? But here we've got, you know, kind of Technicolor blue against bright pink oranges. And then the sunflower, of course, in the middle. And Brandon's Tickle My Fancy, great big toss of feathers, like they're whirling around in a washing machine. And then his lovely little flowered net design, which is a gorgeous design to play with and cut up. And we've got some new colorways of that coming up. So that's nice. Now, one of the things that was really amazing about the castle was they had these beautiful painted panels that were like, what do they call it? A trompe-l'oeil. So that is just painted. That's a solid piece of wood that's just painted. Isn't that extraordinary?
Yeah.
And so I was able to make a quilt that had that reflection. And here is the quilt. So this really felt like those, and I kept it very muted, very soft, pearly grays with duck egg blues and lavenders and very washy kind of muddy pinks, so that it would just be a nice neutral piece. I could see this, you know, if somebody had a kind of driftwood bed, you know, that was silvery wood, and then they had this thrown over the bed, it would be really a lovely effect. And what have we got on the back of that? Oh, we've got Millie Fiore.
Yes.
Gorgeous. So that's that as a backing. That is gorgeous.
It's
really, you know, if you enjoy circles as much as I do and how to play with them in different scales. So that is just some of the quilts that are in this book that we enjoyed so much doing. And now I'd just like to show you some of the fabrics that are coming up. We're always working so far in advance that this is like ancient history to us, the fabrics that are in this book. We've moved on to the next collection, and we are in the midst of designing amazing quilts with this next collection, which I'm going to show you. Or Brendan's gonna be the cameraman.
Do you think you can hold it up?
Oh,
You
yeah,
wanna
I
try?
guess I could. I could.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
fine. Yeah, so you can see that here I've revived my wonderful shawl pattern and done it in kind of cowboy colors, Santa Fe sort of
Mhm.
buckskin colors. And look at that wonderful plaid of Brandon's down here. Brandon features very highly in this particular leaflet. Here we've got a wonderful fern design in black and yellow with a lovely stripe. And this stripe we have had so much fun with. I can't tell you, done all different kind of colorways and so forth, playing with that. And here he's taken the stripe and radiating it out, making something called brollies, which is English for umbrellas.
Oh.
And here we've got a kind of Christmas cactus design from Philip, which is, look at how beautifully articulate every single petal of that flower is. And then we brought back my old jungle paisley,
Mhm.
which plays well with a new design from Philip, with lots of background. Every once in a while, I think it's very good to have a big, strong sense of background color, plain background, just to put in with your other quilts. Your other quilt fabrics. And of course, we've all been falling in love with black and white, haven't we? So here we've got shawl in, which refers to an embroidered shawl from China. And that is done in black and white and gray with touches of orange, sharp green. Then we've got Brandon's fern in black and white, absolutely wonderful. And then my old favorite, bold blooms with a polka dot background in black and white and nice, cool flower colors. And then a new succulent design from Philip. So these big radiating kind of starbursts of plants, that is really fun to play with. I can't tell you to fussy cut those and put them in designs. It's wonderful. Black and white stripe called comb stripe. And then a new design, a new colorway for my wonderful jungle paisley, almost playing with black and white and sharp colors. That's kind of fun if you're in for contrast. And then if you're in for real contrast, how about brollies in black and white? So that's exciting.
I think what some of you will realize is that when you saw the shells, Kaffe has been revisiting some of his old designs and doing new colorways on them. So,
Yeah.
for instance, Philip shells, this paisley,
And this bold blooms. So there's a soft gray colorway. I think the modern quilters will enjoy this with their fields of silvery gray, the way they get into those. And look at Brandon's wonderful plaid, his new plaid, how lovely that looks. And then we've got a nice petunia design from Phil. I always, every time I pass a window box in England and I see these petunias with these kind of two-color prints that are so sharp. The two-color design. There's the succulents. Again, wonderful. There's almost naturalistic colorway. I don't know what possessed me. And then the petunias in kind of contrast there. A new flower, guinea flower design, colorway. And wonderful big pom-pom dahlias from Philip. This is the queen of fussy cutting designs for those fussy cutters who enjoy that. You're going to have so much fun with that. I can't tell you, I am already. And here we've got succulents. Sorry?
There's a lot of texture in it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, isn't it just gorgeous? Every
Yeah.
flower is just, you'll have a hard time picking out which one you're going to throw away and which
Well,
one
Right.
For
you're
instance, these little circles. I mean,
Yeah.
Philip his attention to detail is bar none.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely wonderful. And here we've got a nice cold blue take on those succulents.
Mhm.
And Brandon's,
This one's called Bubble Stripe.
this one's called Bubble Stripe, but this one is the ferns again. And you can see how lovely that is in very, very soft kind of duck egg blue, light turquoise.
Again, those who like fussy cutting and particularly doing yo-yos and so forth, I think they're really going to enjoy the bugs in this fabric that we chose from Philip's collection.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice. Kaffe, I love
Yeah,
hearing you talk about the
I
color.
hope people aren't getting too snowed under with too many details here, but here's
Wow.
Brandon's lovely ferns again, this time in kind of green and turquoise, and then the bubble stripe. And then look at that succulents done in those kind of amazing kind of tapestry colors.
Mhm.
Great, strong, dark, and then wonderful green. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've used this green colorway of these great pom-pom dahlias.
Mhm.
And then we've got a new colorway for the jungle paisley. Brandon's wonderfully contrasting bubble stripe here and his wonderful rich plaid. This makes the most extraordinary border. Look at this colorway of
Mhm.
that. How beautiful and rich is that? And that makes an
Nice.
amazing border for
Yeah.
a dark quilt.
Yeah.
And then, if you want really candy-like strong petunias in really, really contrasting colors. And then the wonderful brawly design. Look how jolly and how, celebratory that is. In
Mhm.
these lovely shades of green.
If any of you are into shirt making, there's a lady in Switzerland took this fabric and made a beautiful blouse out of this fabric, and it really was elegant. So
Yeah.
it's food for thought.
Yeah. Very nice.
There is jungle paisley again in greens and blues. If people are into greens and blues, they're going to have a ball with this collection. Look at these dark, fabulous blues.
Oh,
Oh,
love that.
I just love that. And there's shawl in the blues. I've just done a quilt based on that, which somebody said was my best quilt yet. And there is wonderful bubble stripe of Brandon's with his comb stripe next to it in
Mhm.
cool blue on blue. Sounds like the police. And then we've got succulents again in a more naturalistic colorway.
Mhm.
And look at that. How
Mm.
powerful is Brawley's in
Mhm.
blue with that purple center.
Very pretty.
Yeah. And then this blue background with these wildflowers. And then that wonderful kind of Christmas cactus design with these very articulated petals.
Mhm.
And if you're not bored yet, we'll go on.
No, we're not.
Good.
I love hearing you talk about the fabrics, Kaffe, and the
Oh,
colors.
good.
Yeah.
Well, I'll start out with Brandon's wonderful plaid here. Look how we've just done a quilt and used that as the border.
I'd actually like to see somebody make a skirt out
Yeah.
of this print.
And what they did with the border was to chop it up, not have it just one stripe going through it, but they chopped it up and used it in different ways. So it's kind of kaleidoscopic. That was gorgeous. But look at our wonderful dahlias.
Kind of look 3D, this colorway.
It's so beautiful. It's like it's lit from behind.
When Philip showed us this artwork, I just melted. It was just to die for.
And then there's the red. That's the old red colorway, which people
Mhm.
loved in the early days. So that's a nice revival brought back of jungle paisley. And
Beautiful.
that's also a revival.
Mhm.
Taking the shawl. Now we're having an exhibition here in London next month, and that will feature this as you walk in, a huge blow up of this flower to start with. It's a whole celebration of all the prints that we do made by quilt makers around the world. Now there's wonderful very wonderful earthy colors of Brandon's bubble stripe, and then the comb stripe in orange and blue, which I love. And then that wonderful soft kind of gunmetal gray background here for these very autumnal kind of colors, frosty kind of colors. I think work very well. And for the last one, we'll show you some more reds. Here you'll see at the bottom is the succulents, and then Brandon's wonderful brawly stripe. And look how well that works with the marvelous kind of pinwheel-like petunias. Isn't that fun to make those two play together? I just love that kind of thing.
Yeah, really beautiful.
And then, and then we've got our lovely shawl stripe, shawl print with nice big pink flowers on a deep scarlet background. There's our lovely cactus, the
hellebores.
Kind of hellebore print. And another wonderful plaid from Brandon. Look at the strength.
Really
of that.
beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, that's so much fun.
Okay,
Very
you're getting
fun to
lots
buy.
of hearts. It's nonstop hearts.
Oh, good. Lovely. I love those little kisses.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, world. And there's maroon and orange, and then we end with his wonderful simple stripe. Now these stripes, I've done a quilt where I put all these stripes as the point, like star points, and the middle of each one was a big fussy cut flower. I can't tell you how delicious that has worked out. And here we've got dark maroony background for this kind of wildflower thing of Phillips that I enjoyed making the colors.
And when you look at the fabric, you can see all the different bugs that are incorporated, hidden in the print with these beautiful flowers.
Yeah.
Philip is just an amazing artist.
Yeah.
Well, you all are.
And I'm not a bad colorist.
Yeah, no, you all are. It's magnificent. We love it. Keep it coming, guys.
So that is the collection.
Do you want to see any of the fabrics opened up?
The
plants.
Oh, we've got other ones, but we're not talking about those.
No.
Yet, are we?
No.
So while Kate's looking, I just want to remind everyone that those are the fabrics that are delivering to shops very, very soon. August 2022, they'll be shipping the end of this month to your local quilt shop. So any of those fabrics that they just showed, contact your local quilt shop and be sure you get some of that fabric.
But you.
Oh, hi, Kate.
Hi. I'm just going to show you a big piece of the.
Oh yeah, that's
of the
great.
shawl fabric.
Awesome.
So you can just see what that's like. But I mean, the trouble is we have fabrics here that are the next collection after this. So it's very confusing. But you can see what fun this is if you're into black and white and high contrast.
That's really beautiful.
How much fun it would be.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah.
And this is a piece of Phillips. The fabric I talked about. How beautiful would that be as drapes in your kitchen?
Pretty.
Yeah.
I love all the recommendations you're giving for the uses of the fabric.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just going to show you how the plaid looks scale wise. So it looks quite frightening when you see it on the boat. It's quite large scale.
Yeah.
And directional, which some people find a bit
but we have really been having fun adding this to flowers and other prints. It's a lovely fresh interlude when you have a lot of baroqueness, which I am known to give the world.
Can you just hold it for a moment? I'm just going to get my thumb.
That's really beautiful too.
Yeah.
I kind of see little windows in it.
Yes, it's very little windowy.
See, one of the things is when you cut it up.
I mean, I'm showing you this one because this is one of my favorite colorways. I have used this so much. This lovely soft. Can you see those duck egg blues and pinks and things? And then Brandon's going to show you what he does is when you're thrown by the scale of something, just take a cardboard cutout and have a look at just a piece of it.
You see, and all the different possibilities you have in there. So,
Right.
but so don't be too intimidated
But
by.
look how that goes with this quilt in the background here.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. I love how
Yeah.
Brandon just did that because you can see the fabric, you
Yeah.
know, so differently.
Oh, that's such a good thing to do. You know, like very often a quarter of a flower
Mhm.
coming into a background can be gorgeous in a diamond, say,
Mhm.
or a square or a circle.
Right,
You know.
gives it a whole different shape. So Kay, a question for you. I know there's a few other things you wanted to talk about. I was going to ask you this question before, and then you kind of answered it. I was going to ask what came first, the chicken or the egg in terms of the quilts. So when you make the quilts, do you already pick the location and then you make the quilts, or do you make the quilt?
What we do is we kind of think about a location that we might use, and then Brandon and I go there and we take little snapshots of corners and moods. Let's say it's a little fishing village in Italy. You know, we'll photograph the boats, and we'll photograph the umbrellas on the beach, and we'll photograph a row of houses that are all different colors. And then we come home and we give the various quilt makers who are working with us those pictures, and we look at them ourselves and think about how we can make a quilt that is going to be just gorgeous against those boats or against those whatever. I mean, for instance, we're going down to do the next one at the seaside here in England, which is just charming and full of little funny murals and you know, boat houses and little beach huts and all kinds of lovely, charming kind of folk art, you know, people expressing themselves through a little beach hut, you know, painting the door striped or polka dotted or something, you know, and just picking up on all that and throwing a quilt over the front of their house and running away before they catch us. You know, it's just a great game. And so we do a recce first and get a kind of mood. But basically, we like every quilt book to have something for everyone, so that, you know, the people that love very watered down pastel, quiet quilts that aren't going to scare the horses, like the one behind me, or the ones that want full-blooded, you know, Russian opera. You know, we like to supply all of that, and so we try to find a location that has many different moods. Is what we try.
Right. Well, that's awesome. I'm sure that inspiration you probably even bring over to your artwork in coloration sometimes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really interesting.
And yeah, I mean, it was so interesting when we did the recce of the castle, you know, this Quilts in Wales, which is going to come out soon. And just knowing that we had these wonderful dark hedges in the gardens, and we had beautiful autumn flowers, because we knew, you know, they would have their orange dahlias and their golden roses and everything, so we could use wonderful yellows and golds and things like that. And you know, and just it just makes the whole experience so lovely, because you're sort of orchestrating, you're making theater out of a corner of the world that you have found that has a lovely charm to it. And you and to me, that helps people to see what we're trying to do with colors in the quilts. If the background echoes the colors, I'm sure that everyone knows what I'm talking about. I'm just, you know, teaching my grandmother to suck eggs, but you know, it's just one of those things that I think it helps people to understand what it is you're trying to do with color. If you can echo it in the background and make those colors really come alive.
Yeah, no, I mean, you do a great job. Like I said, when I was looking at the quilts and the photography that's in this book, which is magnificent, I was just curious because it matched up so beautifully in places. I was like, oh, is that coincidence or thought out?
Well, it's very interesting because I'm just doing an interview. Somebody sent me a whole lot of questions. And one of the questions was, you know, do you just give the quilts to the photographer and she decides where they're going to be? No.
Hell no.
We are very clear where we want those quilts to be, where they're going to be enhanced and really come to life. You know, that's what's important. Like if you have too much contrast, you put a nice, rich, dark quilt against a white wall somewhere, forget it. It's dead. It's just eclipsed.
Right.
So, you know, and you put it against a wonderful old burnt hut in the woods or something, and it suddenly comes alive,
Right,
you know?
right.
So it's just, you know,
I love to
just,
see where you place quilts. It's really amazing in your books, how you do it.
yeah, yeah.
I've got to thank you for asking that question, Sharon, because it inspired a very good answer from Kate, but also it's also it's a common question from people about do we design for a location, and it's a bit of this and a bit of that. It's not never a direct.
Now this book is just delivering, so you're starting on your next book. So what is a book? Could you tell us a little bit about your book process? I mean, how long is it 2 years in the making? Is it a year in the making? Is it longer? I know you're working all the time.
I would say it's a year plus in the making at each book, because we get the collection of fabrics. We start to think about how we're going to use those fabrics, which moods we're going to create, and then how to work that with the location. And then when the photography is all done, it goes off to the coordinator of the book, who is sure that all the little blurbs are written, that the introduction is written, that the thank yous to everybody is written, and you know, all of that stuff. And then it goes off to the printers.
Right.
And so
all in all, it's about 16 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, but we have the most amazing team here in the UK that is working behind the scenes, and that's Ilaria, Julie, and Janet Haig, who sew the quilts after we've designed them on this wall behind us. And so they really are work.
And by the way, just in case there is somebody that doesn't know, this wall behind us is a grid on gray, a very soft, forgiving sort of gray, which takes any color. And so I can take a little piece of fabric, like this piece here of Brandon's, and I can just put that on the wall and it will stick. And then I put another piece next to it, another piece next to it, another piece next to it, and create a whole quilt. And that's the way I design. We just cut our fabric and stick it up on the wall. And then once I looked at it and woken up the next morning and come and see it fresh and see if there's anything wrong with it, then we go and get that sewn together by somebody who knows what they're doing. That's not me. And then it goes, then they send it back to me to do the binding, because I'm a binding freak. I absolutely love doing binding, that lovely finishing touch. And I listen to the radio to a play with clinking teacups and lovely English scene going on, and I'm sewing away at my binding.
That's a nice picture, Kaffe. I like that. I like envisioning that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us, because it's very interesting, because I know that you are all working very hard all the time. So it's interesting to know how long it takes to put a book together.
Yeah.
We have a whole series of exhibitions coming up in the UK. If anybody's traveling to the UK or looking for an excuse to come here, we have an exhibition at Hidcote Gardens in the Cotswolds. It's one of Kate's favorite gardens in the UK. It's very, very intimate. It's designed by an American back in the 40s. It's very, very beautiful. So that exhibition will run for 3 months. We have an exhibition opening in central London at the Fashion Textile Museum. That's about 10 minutes walk from London Bridge Tube Station. That will run from the end of September for 6 months. That exhibition will then travel to Scotland and on to Sweden.
And in that exhibition, we're going to have things like this. This is a needlepoint of one of my fabrics called Dream. And so all the needle points that I've done based on this fabric collection will be in that exhibition too. So people will be able to see an embroidered version.
Wow.
Of,
So any of your knit goods be there as well?
No, no.
Okay.
The precipice of that exhibition is actually rather quite special. The curator of the director of the museum asked Kaffe if he would curate a show on pieces of work that he admires or would like to have exhibited. So he's invited 30 different artists from around the world that make with the Kaffe Fassett collective. So it's quilts from Taiwan, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, Canada.
Yeah.
They're all different artists, but they all make with our fabrics, but in their own style. There's even going to be a ball gown that's going to be covered in embroidered flowers on my black and white comb stripe.
Yeah, and that's on a Bernina machine, which I've just designed. The decoration for Bernina machines, and one of them does embroidered flowers. So they're programmed to do it. And so they're going to take every flower that I've designed and put it on this fabulous dress that will be
nice.
part of the show.
If you haven't already, I'm sure you're overwhelmed by the amount of Bernina promotions that's going on. But if you haven't heard already, there's 2 machines that Kaffe's designed the look of, and also the embroidery stitches. So the stitching included with the machine are exclusive to hand-drawn stitches that Kaffe has done, as well as a series of embroideries. So check those out, because they're hot property at the moment.
They are. Very nicely done, you guys.
Yes.
Love those machines. Very nice.
And then we're next week we go to Birmingham to the Festival of Quilts at the NEC, which is equivalent to the Houston quilt market, I suppose, but it's the European version here in Birmingham. And we'll be showing all the quilts from Quilts in Wales. So if you've got a day off and you want to pop along, come and have a book signed.
And come and see them close up and see all the prints. That's a nice idea. And also quilts from all over the world. You know, there's quilts from Russia. I'm not sure there's quilts from Russia anymore, but there's quilts from everywhere else. There used to be fabulous quilts.
Yeah, and Ukraine.
Yeah.
And then people are asking, I'll be coming back to America. Well, hell yes, we can't wait. We'll be back there. We'll be flying in at the end of September to start a 6-week workshop tour. We have no idea where we're going, because it's all arranged for us by the people that need to be doing all the details, like getting the fabrics in and all that kind of stuff. But check out kaffefassett.com events page. On there's all the links. Also, if you would like a Kaffe Rose in your garden, it's information's on that website. I forgot to tell you, if you can't afford a sewing machine, then we've done umbrellas. So you can do,
do you have those?
Where did I put them?
Yeah, and how about that Kaffe flower again? We'd like to see that.
So that's the brolly folded up. So I'm not going to open up because it's bad luck.
It's bad luck, I know.
We're not afraid of bad luck.
So if you want one of these, get
oh my gosh, look at that. That's great.
Isn't that beautiful?
That. Yeah.
They took this design and blew it out big. So you can see that there it is, the right size, and there it is as this wonderful, big, crazy design.
Wow. That's really beautiful.
But then you can put
so you can go out in the rain with nothing on but a little bikini.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
They're also doing sewing bags and
very nice.
There you go. Show that there.
That's an umbrella I wouldn't want to lose, Kaffe.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And look at that. Isn't that fun?
Yes, very nice.
To keep your spare undies in or whatever.
Oh, cool. And then you can do a lovely pink interior.
Oh my gosh, Brandon. Very nice. I like all these. Very nice accessories.
Look at this interior. Woo.
Wow.
Isn't that wonderful?
And then look for your
glass case.
For your contraband. So you might think it's your sunglasses, but you can have your chocolate inside.
Oh yeah, I like that even better.
Nice. Anyway, you've got to ask your shops where they're available, because they're being produced and distributed by a company called Brewers, which is one of the wholesalers for all things sewing products.
Have you ever seen a sew commercial?
Yes.
Sorry
just
about
did.
that. But you know, we're celebrating because we haven't had, you know, such a lovely group of objects to throw our designs onto,
I know.
as well as a sewing machine. I
I
mean,
know.
starting out, you know, for one thing about the sewing machine, this lovely color, I made the sewing machine that color. So it's a
Oh, yeah.
lovely kind of
Well, one of them.
aqua color, one of
Mhm.
the machines.
It's really
And
beautiful.
that's the first time in years that they've done anything in a color all over.
Collector's item.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you go.
for sure, for sure. So,
So,
Are there any questions? Are there any questions?
Yeah, any questions from the
Loving it.
big
no
worldwide audience?
questions. There's over 200 people, about 250 people on right now. And like I said before, we've got like lots of hearts. Oh,
Nice.
somebody wanted to know who your tailor is.
Always.
You're always so stylish. Brandon, we love your shirt. Of course, Kaffe, we love your shirt as well. And so thank you guys. We are gonna have a giveaway, and I'll ask that question in 1 second, but I just like to say Kaffe and Brandon talked about a lot today. They talked about the Quilts and Wales book, which is delivering now. We've got August 2022 fabrics that they showed us. Yes, there's the quilt cover there. I mean, the book cover. Thank you, Kaffe. And the fabrics are delivering this month. And then as Brandon said, go to their website. They have all kinds of upcoming events if you want to know where they are and what they're doing. You guys are very, very busy. We thank you for being with us today. And the question that we have today, if you would like to win the Quilt and Wales book and a fat quarter pack of the August 2022 fabrics, is what is Kaffe wearing today? And you need to tell us as many details about this as you can, and there'll be 3 winners. So
That's a clue. That's a clue.
it is a clue. It is a clue, but we're not giving any more clues about it. We want to know as much detail about what Kaffe's wearing as possible. So thank you guys. We're really excited to see you come to the States, and thank you for everything you shared with us today.
Well, thank you, Sharon. And thank you, world, for tuning in.
Yes, thank you everybody for joining us.
Can I just remind people to, if they would like a little bit more of our world, then follow our social media feeds, kfassett.com, brandonmably.com or Instagram, and also on